What is up? What is up? Happy Sunday morning, everybody. Matt Vrzal here at Canberra, bringing you. It's really shiny back there. Bringing you Husker Hangover for this Sunday morning. Not even sure what day it is. I think it's the 20th of November, which means we are 10 days away from December. 30 some odd days away from Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us this morning to discuss our beloved, crushing our hearts and souls, Nebraska Cornhuskers. Not having a killer instinct or the demeanor to finish someone when you had the opportunity. That would be the Wisconsin Badgers, losing 15-14. Lots to unpack in this game. Lots. The majority of it, and it'll go all over the board. It'll go everywhere today, as it always does. Feel free to hit us up with your questions on any form of social media. I'll do a better job of checking my phone. I had people pissed at me for that. I'll check my email, too. Somebody sent me some emails that I missed. The game itself, now, all cards on the table. I was up in Howells. I think, as I've told you, I will be calling the Monday state championship games. I have Class D1, D2, and the A game, the rematch. But went up to Howells and was listening to it. And maybe I should have stayed in Howells for the rest of the game. Maybe that was it. Maybe it's my fault that I drove back. I was the reason that it didn't go well for Nebraska. But as I'm as I'm listening, and you guys have all watched a lot of football, and I've coached for a while, I've played for a while, and been around the game a lot, just been around games in general. As that was all unfolding, I'm waiting, literally waiting. I was like, someone's got to be the dog here. Someone's got to be the one. Okay. Wisconsin's driving in at half, get a field goal opportunity, 40-yarder into the wind, you know, zero chance. So, I mean, you're in the alpha position. You're in the spot you want to be, the spot you've found. Like you've earned this now. Second half begins. You get up. It isn't beautiful by any means. It isn't amazing, but of the 4-quarter game, you finish the 4-quarter game 2/3 of the way. You are up 10 points, 11 points, up 11 in that room, in that facility, in that building. And I'm not talking about a coach. There's got to be a player, a group of players, a gaggle of players, a pack of players, whatever. I don't know how many you need, but somebody's got to be that, like that guy that says, this is over. Okay. Here's what we have to do. Well, a guy I'm unbelievably fortunate enough to coach with, Nick Danzy, when we get in these situations, will boil it down. And he'll boil it down to first downs. So there's only this much time left. If we get X amount of drives with X amount of first downs, it's mathematically impossible for them to score enough, to get the ball enough to score. So you're in a fourth quarter, you got to figure you're going to get 2, maybe 3 possessions, especially the way these two teams are playing. Okay? Wisconsin all but walks up to the line of scrimmage. Like they're in no hurry for anything. But in that competitor, in that alpha, in that champion, in that player's mind, somebody in their switch has to flip. And again, we've had this conversation. Every time I have a show, it seems I could almost just look and just repeat whatever. But in that player's mind, this is over. This is what we have to do. There is no excuse. There is no reasoning. There is no logic. Like this is what's happening. You can't. It just has to go this way. It has to. Unfortunately for us, we do not have that mindset. You can say it's passed down from coaches, it's passed down from whatever. That's fine. I agree with it, but I also agree with sometimes things that are done or said in a game. The player can go almost outweigh the coach, and the coach has to respect it and say, okay, to give up 2 scores in the fourth, and you stop, both the 2-point conversions, which is great. Just window dressing, it makes you lose by 1 instead of by whatever else. There's a lot of onus on the kids in that. There's a lot of onus on them. If you don't give a shit about the senior class and you want them gone, then I think that's kind of what you get. Cohesive teams, and this is nothing against Mickey. I think he's doing everything he can. Cohesive teams in that situation don't lose that game. Just don't. Part of me in that also, wants Casey Thompson to go rogue and just like they send into play, like, nah, I audibled out of that. Change that to something else. the numbers, the stats, and all that stuff are mind-boggling. I don't know why I say this tongue in cheek, as sarcastically as possible. I don't know why. I don't know why this won't load now. I don't know why they hate Anthony Grant or can't find or scheme or develop a way to get him the ball. When your quarterback or your best play of your best play of your game is receivers covered, quarterback scramble, it's tough to make a living that way. Very difficult way to live. Defensively, I boiled down in that to somebody's trying to do too much. Know the room is one of my favorite things as I've moved on in life. I know when I come on here with you guys in the morning, as we've done this now for 1 year, well, we've done this almost 1 year together. I can come in pissy. I come in and say, shit, fuck, whatever. No judgment in here. Or I come in and be unbelievably positive like I was for a while. But in that situation, in that scenario, you cannot have selfish. Terrell Farley, who's very, very, very pro Mickey, which I think we all should be. He was on the social media and he put out that you can now point that to the kids. And some dude chirped at him and he said, "It ain't hard, man. You keep your eyes on your responsibility. When your responsibility goes out of the backfield, you cover your responsibility. That's it." Teams that are in Nebraska's setup will find a way to have the game go that way. They will that one instance. They could have been perfect that whole game. I've covered this the whole game. I've done it. You get to that one setup or that one scenario where you don't do it, and they just wait for you. We know these guys can't do this the entire game, and you proved them right. You proved them you couldn't. We know if we hang around, it's the formula I want Nebraska to use against teams that are better than them. Just fight and hang around. Fight and hang around. All that. Right? If I do those things, I just fight and hang around. They will make a mistake. They are not mentally disciplined enough to finish this. They have too many bad habits from their whole career that cannot be broken. We will be fine. You, as a player in that scenario, have to do everything you can to prove them wrong, and instead you prove them right. It's hard to win football games. We've made that blatantly obvious. We really have. We've shown everyone. We struggle to find ways to win. We have a master's, a doctorate, super doctorate, a double super doctorate in finding ways to lose. But there's no one to blame but yourselves. You do that to yourself. The win was there. It was there to take. If you can drive down anywhere to get fuel, the numbers, like I don't want to read the numbers because I'm going to get pissed. You had 12 first downs. You're rushing total. You're rushing the football total for a quarter, 4 quarters of football. Not 1 quarter, 4 quarters of football. Your total 65 yards. You average 2.2 yards per attempt. There's a play as I'm listening on the radio. They're down I think it was like the 7. They're in the gun. You get a handoff, and it lost like 7, 8 yards. My mind, as I'm driving, I just about, thank God nobody's around me. I just about swerve lanes. Like I just about was looking like, hey, is there a semi coming? I'm just going to go on that lefty. Because it's almost borderline physically impossible. But don't worry. We followed our 65 yards of rushing up with 106 total passing yards. $171 for the game. You went down the field and back up 3 quarters. That's it for the entire football game. I know Wisconsin plays good defense. I know that. But I mean, you gotta, that's just, it's so much of that is unacceptable. Down we're bad at. Let's get off the field on 3rd down. Nope. We'll let them convert 50% of them bad boys. 8 of 15. We actually weren't god awful horrible at it. We only had 11 opportunities to do it, but we converted 5 of 11. Just not. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. Maybe they just want it to be over. Maybe they're like, hey, short week. We'll shoot our shot against Iowa. See what happens. Go from there. But 65 yards. You gained 100 rushing the ball, and you lost 35. You netted 65 yards. Just, it's unfathomable to me. I just can't handle it. All right, to the comments. Johnny asked about the shirt today. I just need somebody to be a douchebag, like just anybody on there, and the Cobra Kai dojo. Just anybody have an attitude and be the first version. Don't be like trying to suppress the douchebag version of the Netflix series. At least that, go punch somebody in the face. Just try it and see what happens. Then I'm running out of shirts. Like I have a lot of winning shirts. Can't wear them. But this is all I got. Running out of it. I think this is kind of where we're all at. Ted with 2Ds says, love God, let's beat Iowa. Some D-bag was wearing an Iowa sweatshirt today. Says it was, nothing on purpose. Didn't mean to do it. Yeah, okay. Ken says, where was that one at? Walter says, since 2018, Nebraska's 6-26 in one-score games. Yes, man, it's winning time. Now, I'd like to kind of look back through some of those games. I struggled and I chirped quite a bit at Nebraska fan during the prior regime's tenure. They said, "Oh my God, we're this, that, and in the one-score games." I said, "All right, number one, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining." I said, when you're down 14 with 4 minutes to go, and they're like playing a prevent, or you're down whatever. 2 minutes to go in the game, they're playing prevent defense, and you walk one in the end zone to get it to 7. Don't tell me that's a one-score game. That's a 2-score game. They gave you a touchdown, and they kneeled it out to finish it off. Like, But I think the point of Walter's comment is they just can't close. They can't win. Said many times, it's a brain. They need a brain rewire. And I'm talking the whole building. If exorcism, manifestation, which has been big on the TikTok of late, them mugs need to go all sit down and manifest together. Manifest the shit out of that thing. But that's winning time. Like, that's when your winners come out. That's when your winners say, it ain't happening. We're winning today. We are doing this. And we don't have that. We don't have those people. And I'm lumping everybody in. Coaches, players, trainers, equipment staff, support staff. You don't have a winning building. If I'm Trev, or if I'm whoever the next coach is, or if I'm Mickey, I make everybody compete. I make the trainers compete for the best tape job. I make the strength staff compete for who made a player puke because they work so hard. Not like over and over again, like rhomboiditis or whatever we did to him when we first got here, or when the prior regime first got here, but not that. But I think there should be support staff of the year. I think there should be equipment staff of the year. I think there should be trainer of the year. I think there should be strength conditioner of the year. And your head people, like your main honchos, are in on it. They have to compete too. Build a resume. But you have to build it into a championship mindset. People will laugh at Fleck and his elite and his row the boat and his this and his that. That will shift your brain. Whether you want to be resistant to it, and then you see everybody else buying into it, then you realize you better buy into it or you're going to be gone. You'll buy in if you like your job. In my prior life before Pisons, I probably need to get better out of here, to be honest with you. If I had to repeat the mission and vision statement, I'm like, this dude making me do this bullshit. I ain't got time for this, bud. I got to try and make some money. But then as I caved in and did it, and we all laughed about it, took me, 4 or 5 hours memorizing it. It wasn't that big of a deal. But then when I could do it, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what this guy wants to do with his business. I'm working for his business. I should probably do this. It's his vision. Not mine necessarily, but it's his. I work here. A few years ago, they ran the campaign, I play for Nebraska. I loved it. It was just words, though. Like, you got to believe it. Like, I would barnstorm that thing next year. I'd go out to Scotts Bluff. A whole lot of them, load them up in the bus, run them out there, make them practice. So you can see what it's like out there. Run them up north. So you can see the state, see what you're playing for. See the look in the people's faces. Everywhere I went. Okay. Yes, I've got to see 5 of my 6 teams. They had to play because Hitchcock County said them 8-man practices are closed to the public, fat boy. You ain't coming out here. I said, no sweat, bud. 4.5 hours out, 4.5 hours back. I saved myself. I don't know if that 2-door 97 Chevy Tahoe is going to make it out there. So appreciate you. 5 of the 6, though. Watch the practice, have a good time, taking it in. Hey, man, what's Nebraska going to do? What are they going to do? I have no idea. But if it doesn't involve changing the mindset of the building, it's irrelevant. Whomever it is, if it's Mickey, if it's Lance Leipold, if it's Kleiman, if it's Aranda, if it's Rule, if it's whatever flavor of the day, watch what they change first. They won't change workouts and this right away. They will talk about culture. They will talk about attitude. They will talk about mindset. Got to change the mindset. Got to change the way that it operates. It's got to be a disciplined manner every day. Because that matters. That's what this is about. If you want to know what the missing sauce is, group of people pulling common direction with a common belief. Period. If you have that, you don't lose that game against Wisconsin, giving up 12 points in the fourth quarter. When they punted with like however many minutes to go into the wind, 3 minutes to go, whatever. And when I'm having to listen, I'm having to pray, please drop this football. Please shoot yourself in the foot, Wisconsin. And then it said caught, and I'll be honest, I turned it off. Because I knew what was going to happen. I didn't know how. I didn't care how. I just knew. Then watching it later, break down an assignment, back out of backfield, runs down, makes a great grab, catch and done. Then they bled you out. They bled you out. Like down there, it's not defeatist. When you got it, you should have just moved out of the way. Take it. We need the ball back. I don't know if you know this, Wisconsin, we've got 100 yards of total offense in the game. We're about to walk it down the field on you. Or we're going to try. No, we're not. But you needed the clock there more than you needed anything else. Our camera's froze. It made me look like a douchebag on that thing, Cam. Just staring off at the ceiling. See, now I'm getting set by this Iowa guy messing with me over here. Chris said the offense is embarrassing. That offense isn't even French vanilla anymore. No, it's bad. It's bad. I mean, I don't know what to do. Jesus. Todd says, here's my question. What has the O-line been doing in the offseason and doing the season? We can't run the ball. It is funny now because I've got people of all ages that like, okay, and I totally embrace and love the role. But I had everybody, this was the age range last night. I had about a 7-year-old kid. It was like, I'm making pizzas and I'm by the oven and he's kind of looking at me. I'm like, you good, my man? What's up? And he goes, the offensive line is bad, real bad. I was like, yeah, buddy. I'm like, they struggle. He goes, he goes, and little kids are always, little kids are great, or little kids are great. Disciplined little kids are great. He goes, they can't run block, they can't pass block, they're not mean. He goes, and he threw his little palms up like that, and I was like, I said, what are you doing at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning? Do you want to come on an internet show and talk about it? He goes, nah, gotta go to church. I was like, okay. And then I have 2 older ladies, probably 70s to 80s. They're a little ornery. They come in every Saturday and they got their pizza. They half and half it and then split the bill. God forbid you just alternate. You take the even weeks, I'll take the odd weeks. They don't do that shit. Split that bitch down the middle. And the one lady walks over, she goes, kind of gives me the mean, like, grandma kind of has that mean face. She gives me the mean grandma face. She goes, offensive line is bad. I was like, yep, they are. I was like, they are. I cannot help you with that. I cannot make it better. I cannot provide you anything. Todd says, here's my question. What has the O-line been doing? Oh, yeah. Obviously their desire to improve doesn't translate. I mean, I not picking on them. Beginning of the season, we said this is a focal point. We cannot have them be this way. They have to be a highlight of the team. They cannot be a detriment of the team. Every week we talk about them. Every single freaking week we talk about them. Every year. Patrick going to extremes says just kick the whole team off. off the team. Start from scratch, new coaches, have new players. That's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. The mind of a college kid is like it's very shapeable. It's very moldable. It's very pliable. Is I think a better word than moldable. You can take what you have there now, and you can from a folks out in the farm have horses. You got to break a horse. You got to break a stallion, and then you can rebuild it, right? When the new person comes in, whoever that be, or if it's Mickey and his new coaches, when they come in, watch them break these kids. They're going to mentally break them. This was done by Coach Osborne when we were there. I love, like I've told you, the D starring story at Ohio State that Burrow told me about his brother. It's just my favorite story ever. But when you got to Nebraska, even the pissants like me, they would break you. They would break everybody. Damon will tell you when they broke him, he was like, "I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm going somewhere else." Like they will break this entire team mentally. The ones that do not want to be a part of the success will leave. So, to Patrick's point, they will be gone. You don't have to fret about that. They will adios. The ones that will be there and break and want to be rebuilt and want to be made into winners will stay. And now you'll develop a core. In that core, we'll have principles, and that core will have culture. That core will have accountability. Right? So you have a core now. Now you can start to expand on the core. The best players that stay around for it are going to be what sets the pace for your organization for the rest of time. If your best players can buy into this new core, and then they are the hardest workers, that's when it will go real well. But that's the plan. That's the process. Some of them will need to be physically broken. Some of them will need to be mentally broken. And some will just need to, honestly, some of them are already mentally broken. They just need to be mentally fixed. That's why, like, in-house psychology department is stupid. It's a waste of money. It was never inside when it was successful. The most successful program, thank God, at the university, their psychology is not internal, it's external. They hire from outside to bring it in to help, because you have to have a layer of separation from it. But anyway, they will physically and mentally break. Some will get broken one way, some will get broken both ways, some will get broken the other way. But that's when it will turn a corner. Because in this game of all games, you cannot be mentally weak. We've seen over the past, month, a team that's had opportunity to be successful and finds a way not to be. That's mental weakness, right? Mental toughness is, I'm in this thing. Okay, it's 14-3. We're in the fourth quarter. This is our game. Here's what we are doing. Oh man, but I'm tired. I don't care. Your brain is telling you you're tired. Your brain is a liar. Your brain wants the couch. Your brain wants the cheesy poofs. Your brain does not want to be here. You need to tell your brain to go fuck itself, and you need to just play. Let your body take over. That's what you need to do, Mr. I am tired. I can't play. That's what has to happen. They have no one out there that can say that or do that. From what my eyes have shown me. That's a fact. Hard to argue that. We've lived through another season of it. Okay? So now how do you fix that? You should feel a bit of unease, maybe a little nauseous. about having to go to a workout. You should be like, what are these psychopaths going to do to us today? It should not be a laughing, fun, haha. Not that it is. Environment. You can ask guys, whatever the workout was, how slow the walk was some days to get down into the gym, into the weight room. Because you didn't know. And like as I've talked many times, sometimes folks are like, "Oh, this is a crush," or "I'm hurt, oh, can't work out." Make the workout for the hurt guy, not in their injured area, not in the injured part. Make the workout for the injured guy even worse with other parts of their body. You got lower body injury, no problem. We're gonna do this and this and this until you can't lift your arms. Oh, your hamstring feels better now? You don't like this? They have plenty of torture devices in there. Weight rooms are torture rooms. Like let's be honest. Like, if you look back in medieval times, you got these racks, like all this stuff. That's just a weight room. That's just a weight room. And when you have complete psychopaths that love the weight room, twisted individuals, they are not right in the head. Oh, my knee, my hamstring, not feeling it. Great. We got this assault bike. Okay, do not put your feet on the assault bike pedals. You are just going to pump that thing with your arms. Let's go 45 minutes. Got to get you some cardio in that when we come back, you'll be ready to go. You'll be jacked. Anybody ever been on an assault bike? Things are terrible. Absolutely horrid. And then what you do is, well, you're getting pretty good at that. I'm going to tighten up the tension here. So now you cannot move the thing. Guys that are hurt, make that more. Make the conditioning, the workout for the guys that are injured, not in their injured area. Make that so uncomfortable, nobody wants to get hurt. Hey, man, my hamstring kind of tight today, but did you see what they made those guys do? I'm not hurt. I'm fine. I'm going to work around this thing. I think it's good. I really do. Do not assault bike me for 45 minutes. Change culture, change core, change mind. Do things that make you tough. We're going to talk about being tough. Do things that make you tough. Weight room staff are twisted people anyway. They would giggle and laugh when we would get ready to do our circuit training. They would look guys dead in the face and say, "Where do you want me to put the puke bucket?" And you're like, "I don't know, man. I don't want to do this." But then you do it. You get done. Some guys had to use the bucket, some didn't. Mentally strengthen yourself. Mental is where it lacks so much. Highlights of the game. Johnny brings them up. Thank you, John, for doing that. Houseman. Oh, he's going back at Patrick, who said everybody should leave. Highlights of the game for me. Houseman and Hurrdat. You got two. You got two. I'll be honest. You got two Big Ten players. You got two all Big Ten players. Houseman's hips are so lively when he gets to the point of contact. Like he can deliver a blow better than anyone we've probably had in. That, man, I know I'm recency biased, but when's the last time we've hit someone like he does and they go the other way? It's been a hot minute. Like, he is a runner hitter. Raw as freshly shot deer, but he don't. There you go, Hunters. He's still learning the position. He's learning it on the run. He's learning pretty good. He made mistakes, but he makes aggressive mistakes. Hurrdat, I think he has 3 picks, both freshmen. Guys to build around. Guys to build around. I love it. Those are 2 you have to keep. Matthew says, for example, I know Paisans won't make a perfect pizza every time, but so far they have. I keep sticking around and waiting for that one mistake. I know my game plan. It's kind of mean. Here's the thing. We know, okay? We know our slogan "Perfect on Purpose" is impossible. And my attitude's been shit late, but it's just been me. I get in my feels this time of year. I do not like when it's dark at 4:30. Okay? Apologize to anybody I pissed off. We know perfection in our day is impossible. Okay? But we also know that if we screw something up, I'm gonna look you in the face and say, that's our fault. Okay. My staff is trying to say, we screwed it up. We'll take it off your bill. We'll get it right. If it goes a step further and then I'm involved in it, my first sentence is, I'm sorry I failed you because I did not train my staff well enough to do this correctly. People's brains just go, what did you just say? That's a mental thing. Mentally, I'm going to show you I'm tough enough to admit my mistake. I know where it's at. I'm going to go now fix it. Okay. Everything in the game of football is mental. I got a kid playing at Wayne State. I got a kid playing at Augustana. I got a kid playing in Northern Iowa. I sat down with all of them before they went, and I said, listen, the physical is the physical, okay? They're going to mold and shape you and technique you to where you just play. What you have to focus on is the mental. I said, you're going into a room of people you don't know. You're going to have dickheads. Guys are going to try to bully you. If you take them bullying you, they're going to own you. They're going to walk all over you the whole time they're there. But if you stand up to them early on in this and you get a rep against them, and you don't even have to win the rep, you have to stalemate the rep. You have to dead heat that rep. They're going to respect you forever to the day you die. That's what they're going to do. You're going to have people that are weak-minded. If you try to go bully them, you're going to turn into this guy. But the mental game in college sports is 90% of it. Can I survive it? Coach has bad days, yelling at me all the time. All you do, looking down and say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. You got it, coach. You bet. And you go. You don't sit there and try to argue back and forth. Later, that coach will come over and say, hey, bud, I'm having a shitty day. Here's what I really need you to do. That was not, wasn't you. That's me. Most, though, if they're getting their ass chewed, will turtle. He doesn't like me. I want to go home and see my mommy. No. Mental is where we lack. Houseman, Herzog, mentally, I'm in with that. Mentally, they're in to play it. Oh, nice. I'm in, Ryan. Yeah. Ryan, you give me a plane ticket, I'll be in Nashville tomorrow. No word of a lie. Ryan invited me to Nashville. It's pretty sweet. I do need to make it down there. Time of possession was lopsided again. Yeah. When you can't do basic things, you will lose time of possession forever. Again, talk about a lot. I was really hoping we could find something in this Wisconsin game that we could hang a hat on as far as an identity goes for the last two games. We legit go out to the field with zero identity. None whatsoever. We can hang our hat on nothing. We still are trying to win games and not having a core principle in business. Our goal here every day sounds stupid to everybody else is to make the best cheese pizza ever. Simple. Cheese pizza. Cheese. Crust, sauce, cheese. Done. Can't hide nothing. Shows what you're about. And do you have attention to minute detail? Give me a core identity. Run play that Nebraska can always execute. There is not one. Give me a core play that Nebraska can always execute passing the ball. There is none. You cannot play the game that way. Coaches will get into coach speak. You got to have a foundation. You got to have a basis. You got to have this. You got to have that. What they're saying in that is I have to have one thing I can do against anything. You want to play 6-2? We're going to run this play. This is our bread and butter. You want to run a 5-3, 4-4, 3-4, 2-7, whatever you want to run. We are going to be able to accomplish this play. Preface that. We are going to accomplish this play for 4 yards every time we run it. Whatever you want to do with it. This is what we're going to do. It's cheese pizza. It's the basics. It's the basis of what you do. Now I can extrapolate everything, literally an entire menu, an entire play sheet or playbook out of that one base play. That's how it goes. We have nothing. We literally throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. And then when it sticks, we never run it again. I would tell Whipple, stay home. I would, if I'm Trev and Mickey, I just go and I say, you're hurt a lot worse than we thought. Mark, you're going to stay home. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. You're injured. You're injured. You're on the IR. See it. Because he even go up in the box. I thought him in the box is going to be helpful. Nope. I don't even know if he looked down at the field. Because when I watched it then, later in the day, we're actually really late at night, there's opportunity there to do it. There's advantage that they do. And maybe they don't trust Casey Thompson, which I think would be stupid. You got to give him power to audible. Okay? Now, I say that not even understanding why I said it, because they can't even get a second quarterback ready that can slide. If you, and I don't want to get real technical with you, but if you look at that tape of that game and you walk up and they're Nebraska's in their offensive formation, the numbers of the game of football will always create a bubble. Okay? A bubble is an area that the offense can take advantage of because the defense is weak in that spot. All right? Wisconsin, when they lined up against a few of Nebraska's sets, I'm looking at it saying, okay, you need to audible to something that will put you there into that bubble, and you can do it. Where I think Thompson knows it as well, but may not have the power to do this, is because as he's scanning the field, he stopped. Oh, almost like a cartoon. It's like, and he looked at it, and he knows it's there. He kind of looked back and looked at it again. And I'm in my brain, I'm like, kid, just do it. Just call it. And when you go off, let him yell at you. Or if it works and you execute it, let him high five you. Say, hey, man, you did awesome there. That was great. Great job. You got to empower him to go. No disrespect to my gross people, okay? No disrespect. The quarterback in Bennington assesses the situation very well. He is a high school player. Okay. Any of you mid-ish kind of colleges that are listening and want a player, quarterback in Bennington. He'll get a call, look at his little wristband thingy, call it, look out there, like, oh no, dog. This ain't gonna work. They got 8 in the box. We're gonna hit that little hooker out there. And he gets it, rip, rack, rock. Ball's gone. Go make a play, playmaker. Thanks for turning that 4-yard throw into a 12-yard game, buddy. Because in the books, that's a 12-yard completion. Oh, man, thank you. He'll come up next time, like, oh, only got 6 in here. Thanks for the suggestion, coach. We're going this way. Here you go. Colbert, take the ball, run. 6, 8 yards. He can assess it. Coaches will create crutches because they're scared of the outcome. If you're scared of the outcome, you should not coach. Okay? Because here's my deal. If I got Casey Thompson up there, and I feel Casey Thompson is very smart football player. He's been around a lot. He's seen a lot. I give him full autonomy to make me look good. Okay? That case, you see something, you audible into it. Trust you. Go get him, buddy. See you at the end of this drive. Right? And I'm sure he has some power to audible. But I don't think he's got free run of it. Job of coach, I've got to educate the player on our scheme, on our game plan, on this. So when the shit hits the fan in the game, he can fix it. And then his teammates have to execute what he tells them to. But think about the games. When have you seen him walk up and easy, red? Red's always a hot color. Red this, red that. But we get in the gun. We go through the cadence. We run the play. You never see it audible. You never see it change. Right? Educate them. Teach them. If your practices aren't efficient enough to get that done, you got a problem. Man, we're still into the trust things. Wesley says, WJD says, do you think the players show up on Friday and compete? Or do you think they mail it in? God. It's embarrassing to me that I have to think about this. I have to put genuine. Like, at the end of the day, I don't have a lot of brain power, but I have to commit to this. Not dying. I'm good. I am. Okay. I'm going to say yes, they're ready to go and compete, but I'm going to throw in a caveat. It's my word this week. Use it on 5115. By the way, Tommy Frazier and I will be out at the Hale Varsity Club. I don't know the address out there. Just Google Hale Varsity Club on Tuesday. We were going to do it Monday, but your boys calling the D1, D2, and A games on the TV. Thank God there's only one opening shot of me actually on the TV, and then I just get to talk. But Tommy and I will be out there recording our podcast, 5115. If you don't know about that, check it out. It's on the Hurrdat Sports Network. It'll be on Spotify, Apple, all those places where you can go find it, listen to podcasts. We just done a breakdown of every game. Well, we're going to carry it through the year. Tommy came to me and said, "Hey, I want to do a podcast with you." I was like, "You shitting me? Are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah." So, in some of the prior episodes, I do actually make him sweat, which is funny to me. It's always good to get Tommy uneasy, but we'll go back and forth and have some fun. But anyway, I think here's my caveat to this. Iowa, rightfully so. Okay. And you can be as pissed off at Iowa fans as you want. They've won infinity in a row. So you can be as mad as you want to be. Iowa will run its mouth. And I think that's going to piss somebody off. Don't know who, but I think it'll piss somebody off, and then they'll actually show up to, like, and I don't think they've not shown up to play. I understand the question. It's the last game of the season. You have nothing, literally nothing to play for. So I think that'll be, yes, I do, to answer the question. People laugh at Tom Allen too, but his players rallied for a big road win this weekend. Yeah, the team wants to win. Walter says flex fraud, 25-26 Big Ten Conference plays. Yeah, but he's in Minnesota. Like, would you take 25 and 26 right now? WB D3? I would. Sure would. Hey, WB D3, what's our record in the Big Ten? Pull that one up there for me. I kind of like Patrick. Patrick's like, eradicate every disease that affects this program, every nook and cranny with the transfer portal as it is. There's no loyalty anymore. Get rid of it all. Larry says, Yes, the offensive line is bad at what Big Brain Whip wants them to do. Maybe do what they're better at. What a freaking concept. Amen, brother. Chris says, make them earn scholarships again. Every position on scholarships up for grabs. Prove yourself. There's a man that wouldn't that be fun? You're gonna have like protections in place for the players that is not a viable concept. What'd you do if everybody showed up, man? You ain't got nothing. You've gutted the locker room. Like everybody's stuff is in a bag outside. Like what are we gonna do? And you go Cobra Kai, you go Mr. Miyagi. What are we gonna do? I've got 145 toothbrushes. Okay. We're gonna clean the stadium with a toothbrush. Everybody. We have mass exodus right at that time. Larry says Big Brain Whipple is another pathetic version of Bob Diaco. Oh, Bobby D. I'll never forget when Bobby D came in. I got some friends that were somewhere he was, and they were like, get ready. I'm like, what's up? They're like, you are about to have the mafia roll in as your defensive coordinator. Like, this guy is going to bring in some Guidos and some Tonys and some Paulies, and like, you just better be ready. And I just laughed. It was funny. Our Grand Island legend, John Peterson, listening to, hey, Mad Dog, Maddie Livingston, winner of the first employee in today, 857, fresh off a hunting trip in Michigan. We should bring Maddie on, see if she killed anything. John Peterson, whose son Jack plays at UCLA because we chose not to talk to him at all. 6'5" freak, can hit a baseball to the moon and plays tight end. But yeah, no, we're good. Johnny says there used to be a bar in Lincoln called Sweep Left. Shocker that John would know the name of a bar in Lincoln. How's that for an identity? I agree. Something to get Anthony Grant on the edge. Something to get something going. Sean Stone says, yeah, I agree here, Shawnee. This is the first game of the tenure. You know, there were some clock management issues in it. Clock management issues. The fourth down early in the game, I think it was like right around midfield. We punted. I really would have loved to see Nebraska go for that right there. I was driving back, screaming in my car, please go for it. They did not. But Sean brings up, I feel that Mickey made a major mistake taking the win in the third instead of the fourth, which did not help his team and gave Whiskey an advantage to come back. Will WT3 in the building. And we are on it today, 8:58. Yeah, the win in the fourth, I'm always in favor of that. Nebraska did a good job of dodging it at the beginning of the game. I think may have struggled with it, but much rather have had it that way. Going into that win was going to be tough. I agree with Sean there. There is some onus on what happened with that, and you know, Mickey's probably got to be held. It's an honest question. I think that they should answer. Matthew says, if cheese pizza is ISO, just some of this, some of this, some of that. Some of this, some of that is the annexation of Puerto Rico. For those of you that are little Giants fans, that's what some of this, some of that is. Brian says, can't say yesterday surprised me. Well, it might not end up head coach. Kudos to go out to Mickey. Nobody could have salvaged the season. At least Mickey kept the team together and fighting until there's a valid effort to assemble an offensive line. This is where we are. Go Big Red till I'm dead. Travis says, I think if they show up and play right to the point where something goes sideways, the wheels come off and it's over. Travis, I don't know if you're talking about the Iowa game. I think they show up. Okay. For this Iowa game, I don't think I've ever seen them mail it, you know? Like I don't think they am trying to just rack my brain real quick of something where they've come out and it's just like they've not tried or something. That's one of the things I think Mickey's done great is they've overcome some stuff. Like they're usually something bad happens, away we go, game's over. So I don't know if I'm more worried about the start, like mentally at the start. It's like, hey man, let's get this over. It is what it is. That's the one that's interesting to me. So over there. My guy Dave says, "Do you know that Billy from Melrose Place was a Cobra Kai?" I did not know that. Thank you for that information, David. Greg says, "Do you prefer swinging for the fences on a proven guy or a young up and coming coach that's winning, younger, full of energy?" Okay, for the hire, whomever that may be, and Mickey is included in this. Okay, you have to have a builder of men. Okay, and I'm not being sexist. You can have a builder of people if you want to put it in that manner. Okay. When I say a builder of men, I don't care if you're old and have done it before. I don't care if you're a young up and comer. I would be more shocked if it was a young up and comer because it's not proven. We had a young up and comer. It did not work when he got here. He was terminated earlier in the season. So to me, I'm going to go with a proven builder of men. Okay, notice I did not say football players. I did not say zone read concept. I did not say 4-3 defense. I said I have to have a builder of men because the men in the facility are broken. Okay, they need repair before anything on the field can go to succeed. Like I said, I know a couple of the people involved in the search. I'm a good secret keeper. I'll ask like a lot of leading questions. One group that I know was given information of what the desire for the next head coach should be. The other group that I know was given another piece to the puzzle. Okay, they both weren't given both pieces. So I'm guessing then if the pattern holds true, then the other groups are given a different piece altogether. So this group takes their research with their due diligence and they find guys. This group takes their research. So then what you do is you compile everybody and the one name that keeps coming up in common across all of the different pieces of information. That's who you hire. They may not be number one. They may not be number one in all of the groups, but they were in all of the groups, if that makes sense. And I think that is brilliant. Instead of giving everybody everything and then everybody goes and lobbies for their guy because they want to be the right one, everybody's just got a piece. You take the pieces and then whoever is on all of the pages, that's your guy because he encompasses everything you want to do. And that's why I'm saying if it is not Mickey Joseph, who I think is a leader of men and a builder of men, if it is not Mickey, I think you're looking at an older coach or more experienced coach that's done it before and had success with it. Micah rained on my parade. Thank you to the UNLROTC, though. They had stadium cleanup yesterday. Mike also says there was a sidetrack. That is true. Sidetrack Tavern was a good one. And May Joyce Duran, rest in peace. Beautiful, dirty mouth soul, sang many, many songs. And made me a couple bucks. Justin. Dex Loves. What's up, Deck? If Nebraska coach is a reflection of the Karate Kid, would you rather the next coach be more Miyagi or John Kreese? Sweep the leg, verse. See, Miyagi's a little bit undersold. Huge attention to the basics, respecting the craft of karate. I don't know karate, but I know crazy. A little bit of a dog in Miyagi, though. A little bit of a dog. Focus on the fundamentals, not the flash and the flare. I'm going to go Miyagi. WBD3, my guy, says Nebraska's 15-37 in conference. So you're telling me you wouldn't take PJ Fleck in the hype machine? There's too many people. This is great. Robert says he had to walk through sweep left to get to the, we're going to call that gentleman's club. Peter McHugh's upstairs. We got this, man. This is awesome. I think you are correct, Robert. Grant Wistrom's daughter. There it is. That's what I wanted to see from Walter. Here's what people don't like about PJ Fleck. He's just a douche. He's a douchey individual. Like, I think last night I caught a part of the game. I wasn't watching it all, but he's coaching the game at night and he's got sunglasses on. And I was like, literally everyone in the Big Ten is like, come on, Iowa. Just beat this dude. Just beat him. That's all I wanted at you, buddy. Wistrom. Okay, so Wistrom's daughter, Charlie, who is she's a kicker. I think she was up and I think Grant came up for the game. So yeah. I would say that was gonna be a tough one. That was gonna be a tough sell. To get old Wistrom's daughter in there on a Scully. All right, so on to Iowa. All right. We're going to preface this by saying that Nebraska and its whole crew is going to show up, be ready to roll for this game. All right, they're going to be of mind. Hopefully the seniors, whomever are left in there, get up, give a big emotional thing, and say, "Hey, man, for the last game in my career at Nebraska, we got to go out, do everything we can just to walk off the field as winners." Okay. We got to help out the state because we've all had to take the fact that we cannot beat Iowa at football and say, hey, here's what it is. We're going to make Vrzal's day easy so he doesn't have Iowa people pitying him, which I do not need anyone's pity. Kick me squarely when I'm down. If you beat me, you tell me you beat me. There's nothing I can say. I'm man enough to admit you beat me. I will shake your hand. I will look you in the eye. Which, by the way, there was one coach this year that beat us, and I went to shake his hand. Number one, gave me a wet noodle. Number two, looked away. I may or may not have had his pinky touching his first finger by the time the handshake was over. If you beat me, I'm fine with that. If you whoop my ass, I will take it. I've had my ass whooped by better. But you goddamn better look me in the eye when I shake your hand. Don't look away like you got somewhere to be. But so we need to help the state, the members of the state out. Focus all of our effort on one game, one singular game. Where Nebraska has an advantage, I believe, okay, it's going to be counterproductive to a lot of it, okay? But what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to loosen up the box, all right? Iowa is going to say, you ain't running it. Casey Thompson beat us throwing it. Or Iowa is going to say, you know what, we're pretty sure we can stop you with these 5 guys or 6 guys. You ain't running. You're going to have to be coached enough and smart enough to take what they give you. Okay. Box is light. Give Casey Thompson the power to run it. What I mean by box is light is there's not as many people in the box from tackle to tackle, tight end to tight end. The numbers are in your favor. Okay. Take the 4. Box is heavy. Safety's creeping down. Nickelback is kind of sneaking in there. Man coverage look. I don't necessarily need the home run. I need a complete pass for positive yards. let Casey Thompson go out and run the show for the last game of this season. Let him go out and run the show. Case, here's what we got, buddy. Box is heavy. We're going to throw this. Box is light. We're going to run these 3 plays. Pick whatever you want. But to do this, I'm going to need you to get to film. We got a short week here. I'm going to need you to have, X amount of hours. You and I are going to sit down with film. We're going to show you the box. You're going to tell me what you'd run once we get you in that rhythm. So you're going to be in here a lot. Get your studies done. You're going to be in here with us. This is how it's going to go. You're basically going to be the OC for a game. Because let's be honest, what could be worse? We're going to send you a suggestion in. You look at it, box of light. Coach Osborne would send in 2 plays at a time. T-Flav, Brooke, Term, Monty. Got to pick. And it just wasn't with the 1s, the 2s, and the 3. Like every group got sent in 2 plays. It was called Check With Me. You get up there, quarterback survey it. Boom. Hit the numbers, away you go. It was awesome. And those guys then had more desire and drive to be in the books, to know what the defense does, to know what was going to be successful against what defense. It was awesome. In a little weird way, it motivated me to know more about the offense because then I would know. Because chances are if he makes a call that we're going to run one of the 2 plays that were called, I have a call I have to make. So I could anticipate then what happened. And before you know it, I know what everybody on the offense is supposed to do. It was awesome. It was awesome. So you got to empower Casey Thompson. If my guy out at Bennington can do it, I'm pretty sure Casey Thompson can do it. Okay. When Iowa is heavy in the box, okay, the box is full. They're telling you, you're not running it. We're blitzing you. You're not running it. You got to have a bailout. Bailout is a poor term. I got to have a controlled route I can throw, whether that's tight end flat, whether that's a slant, whether it's a 15-yard stop route or 10-yard stop route. I got to have something I can get rid of quick because the protection, as proven, is not going to hold up. Okay? And I have to be perfectly content that complete pass for 7 to 8 yards is beautiful. It is a symphony. It is Mozart. It is a Da Vinci, whatever painting you like, whatever your favorite book is, it is that. Is Cam watching Wayne's World, which is his favorite movie? It's perfect. Until later, when they get tired, and then I can run the double move. And that corner is going to want to jump that hook route or that slant route or that whatever. And then I run a sluggo. I run a slant and go. Defense isn't getting there as fast. They're a little bit tired. They got tired of punching us in the face. They're worn out. Now I got hook and go. Now I can take the big shot. I don't need the big shot right out of the gate. Box is light. Okay. We're going to run inside zone. We're going to run pin or puller. And we're going to run just a straight base play ahead. You pick a man. We're all going forward. Again, football is not hard. All the people that coach, all the people that go to games, you have those plays. They're just bigger human beings executing them. Casey looks at the box. Box is light. I like that. Here we go. Boom. Inside zone to the left. Everybody pick a partner, start mauling people, and go. Do not let up till you hear the whistle. Oh, didn't get to linebacker. Don't care. We took a page from Michigan. We rolled over the ball. We had forward lean. And when we knew contact was coming, we started to sprint, and we fell forward. We weren't trying to make a lateral move. That, I think, is helpful because sometimes I think we try to make lateral moves when we're going into contact. Ball forward, pad level low. Corum ends up when he runs about 3 inches off the ground. He's only 5'2" to start, but hey, it is what it is. Forward momentum. Every play in that Michigan game when we went to tackle, Corum would hit, would fall forward, except 2 for Ernest Hausman. He had 2 great hits in that game. They went sideways, fell down. Awesome. Okay. Forward for 4. 4 is great. 4 and 4 and 4 is first down. We don't have to put the defense on the field. They have time to rest. That is a very simple game plan. Come up on a Sunday morning to keep the game simple. Have a hand signal. Okay? Have a hand signal. When I get up to the line and I'm Casey Thompson, I need to know that my receivers that are out there are seeing the coverage the same way that I do. Okay? This is very basic. I will probably be able to roll out of it. That's a different story for a different day. Okay? When we get out there, I just shoot them a little hand wiggle, right? This. Okay? If I do this, that's man. If I do this, I'm seeing cover 2. What are you seeing? They motion back 2. We're good. We're all on the same page. I just shoot out a 3 real quick. Everybody sees cover 3. Here we go. All on the same page. Now my coverage dictates my route combos. If they're in cover 2, I can take my inside guy, and I can run him, and I can pull that safety. Now I've got this corner out here where I want him. I can just run a stop, and we, bam, hit the flat. Okay? All on the same page. Very simple to do. Or coach sends in a play and calls it. We all get our little hand signals. We're up at the line of scrimmage. Right there. We all got it checked out. Everybody's on the same page. Boom, boom, boom. Away we go. Away we go. Coach, good call. You nailed it, that one, not Mark Whipple, who's at home on the couch. Good job. Who's ever calling plays, not named Mark? Simple. Simple. Do not Damon Benning the game of football. Do not make it more complicated than it is. It is a very, very simple game. Don't make it complex. And that's how you can go win. We'll get to a couple more questions here. We'll talk to, I'll go over defensively then what we can do as well. Fred Fisher, I'll roll with you. Actually, I'll roll with anybody named Fisher. I'm not going to lie. I still think Vokalek and Brewington should have a bigger part of the game plan. This is game plan this year. Tight end screens, outlet passes, pressures, 2 tight end sets have been the cheese pizza. Yeah. 2 tight end set for them makes you balance. There was a couple times Damon had mentioned it on the broadcast, and I give Damon a hard time. He tries to complicate football. He did a great job on the call. 2 tight end set, right? And then they just put the one back as the H-back. You become a fullback. Away we go. 2 tight end sets will make you balance the defense. Okay? If you're good at watching film, you say, hey, I really think we have an advantage in this matchup. If we can get them to balance and I can get this player on my player over here, then we're good. We can have success doing this. 2 tight end sets are valuable. I would play a lot of 2 tight set. It's why Iowa does it. They get you balanced. They find a matchup they can win. They run at it. Again, very simple game. Very simple. But I think that's a good one for them. PJ Pleck had his own pizza place. Would just be a bunch of vegetables and an undercooked crust. I don't know that. I do not know that one. Patrick likes the double wing set. Again, balance. Balance. Chad Detloff, my old quarterback from high school, says Muhammad from Minnesota is who you need to watch. Straightforward. Chad is also an Oklahoma fan, so I'm sure he's very happy. Yeah. Steal from him. Corum. Guy in Minnesota. Steal. It's a copycat game. Everybody says, I came up with this great play. No, you didn't. Urban Meyer even says, they're like, oh my God, how'd you come up with this zone read concept? He goes, well, Tom Osborne really successful, run the option. So I didn't have a lot of fullbacks. So I just put the option in the gun. Read the end. Novel. And somebody else says, oh, I'm going to move this out further. I'm going to read the outside linebacker. Okay, great. Good job. So I'm going to fake the run. I'm going to chuck it. Quick pass. It's called a pitch. Everybody does like when I take shots at Damon. Yeah. Yes, on 2 tight ends, the double mint twins for us in the stands. Oh, there's a blast from the past. That's an old one. Any of you what am I? I'm a Gen X. Any of you Gen Xers out there realize that like our lives would have all been like run off of television? Like anything that we watched or supported as a youth would just be like crucified right now. Literally. I don't even think you can watch Blazing Saddles anymore. I don't think that exists. Rusty says a positive note for the Wisconsin game is that in 2 years in a row, I have won lunch from my Badger friend who has given me 13 and 10 points respectively, GBR. Good teams win, great teams cover. It's the true life of the gambler. The very true life of anybody that gambles. Wisconsin or Minnesota, Iowa on the television. Tight end down the seam. Literally day one. Watching this and then correlating with Wisconsin and the back came out and was able to catch the ball, got Wisconsin down, and then allowed Wisconsin to be in position to score and give us 35 seconds to not score. Same concept. We don't think you can stay disciplined for an entire game. We've run this tight end seam play, which is a tight end running down the hash of the field. We've run this 8 million times. And right there, you got a safety, Howden from Minnesota, peeking in the backfield, not trusting his teammates on what they need to do. You've got a linebacker, 55, got a hyphenated last name, I didn't catch it, who does have run responsibility, but if is reading his keys, knows that he has to carry that tight end to that defensive back. And where are they both at? They're both chasing him. Nebraska in this game has to stay disciplined defensively. I have to trust the guys in front of me to do their job. Because if that tight end goes down the seam, we're real good at leaving people wide open to run down the field. We really are. We do it quite often. I have to trust my eyes. My eyes give me a pass read. I have to carry this tight end to my next cover guy. I cannot let their bread and butter be what beats me. I have to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Nebraska's biggest asset in this game, I think, as they play defense, is Brian Ferentz. There's huge potential. Any Iowa fan over here shaking his head in agreement with me, is that he, instead of going for a physical embarrassment, wants to go early for a mental embarrassment. My brain as the offensive coordinator is so huge. I'm going to design these great plays. I'm going to take this quarterback that can't throw it in the ocean, and I'm going to make him chuck it all over the field. That's what he's going to do. We hope. If that happens, Nebraska fan has a great opportunity. The more Brian gets in the way of the game, the better Nebraska's odds are of winning it. Because if he wakes up that day, that Black Friday, we play on Black Friday, right? If he wakes up on Black Friday and says, I choose violence, I choose 4 yards in a cloud of dust, it has the potential to be a very long day. Very long day. Okay? Nebraska defensively. You're not going to create confusion because they're very set in core principle. Okay. They're very set in fundamental, very set in just what they are. And I'm talking about their run game. All right. In their run game, Nebraska has to create chaos up front. Right. If that's slants, if that's twists, whatever that may be. If you have a tendency, which Nebraska probably needs to go self scout, if we have a tendency when you get in this too tight set that we get in this, okay, maybe you don't. If they get in too tight, maybe you roll down into an even front where you become a 4-man front. If you get into a too tight set that Iowa gets into and you shade your nose guard or your zero technique into the weak side gap, so it would be to the short side of the field in a balance set. The short side of the field is the field closest to a sideline. In my example, I went to my left. If I shade him there, saying, yep, you want to run the field, but then I'm going to try to slant him across the face. I'm going to try to torque him over there, right? Or if I say I'm going to put my zero technique to the strong side of the field, to the wide side of the field, I'm going to make you run short side. Because now all I'm going to do is smack down on you with my nose. Try to keep your center off of my linebacker, and now my linebacker can run free because the numbers become in my favor. And I can never get in the same thing twice. I have to keep them guessing when they're trying to run the ball. I have to get them off balance, okay? Secondary guys, you're going to have little to no run responsibility. You are covering receivers and tight ends. That's it. That's it. You are going to do that. Done. And then you know what, boys? Play physical. If you get, hey, quarter one, quarter two, there you go. Here's the parameters. If we're up by 7 or down by 7 in the first 2 quarters, personal foul's okay. Personal foul's all right. Let them know. I ain't here to get my shit kicked. We're going to make it rowdy all day. Or you may bait them into something, a retaliation and an ejection. Fine. 15 is always greater than 7. For the secondary, if you get beat on something, trip him, shove him down the ground, knock him over, clap your hands. Good move. Enjoy your 15 yards. You didn't score. 15 always greater than 7. Take it all day. That's about as simple as I can make that game plan. I can try to roll coverages. I can line up and look so like it's cover 2, and then as he gets in his cadence, I roll down on the guy I'm going to cover one-on-one because I've got to commit to stop the run, which I think Nebraska plays good man-to-man defense, except sometimes on backside of backfield. But just lock that down. Secondary, your back 4, your back 3. I have no run responsibility. You 8 have to stop the run. If you 8 stop the run, Iowa throwing it is a win. Iowa is a win. John says Brian Ferentz doesn't have to choose violence. His daddy got to 7 wins, another extension and a raise. So little boy will not be fired. I'll take the wins, but enjoy, Iowa fan. He's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong. WBD3 says at least Colorado sucks ass. 1-10. But that's where we're at. We're cheering for the downfall of others, which I don't mind. So yep, you're good, man. You talk about, and maybe it's just rumor mill. If we all go in the Wayback Machine, right? When it all went down and the prior regime got removed, Everybody, oh, Matt Campbell, Matt Campbell, Matt Campbell. So yesterday, Iowa State may part ways with Matt Campbell. I don't know. Iowa State fan, if there's any of you on here, I don't know if that's true. But, man, in the words of Ron Burgundy, that escalated quickly. He was the chosen guy. He's going to go Nebraska. Here we go. Not that it would be better than Iowa State. But now my guy might not even have a job. And he was ballsy enough to say, I'm holding out for Notre Dame. Like, Jesus, dude. Some perspective here. Man, if that happens, holy shnikes. If the Big Ten was listed as Lincoln Bars in the 90s, would you consider Nebraska Tam O'Shannon or Harry's Wonder Bar of the league? I would probably have to go with the Tamo because it had a little bit more living in the past. That rustic had carpet on the wall. I believe there was wood panel. That's a good one, Deck. Deck's on one today. Shawnee Stone says, do you feel Bill Bush will or should stick 8 in the box and force Iowa to beat them in the pass game? My big fear in that, Shawnee, is that let's say they do commit 8, like my little basic interpretation was. I think you can keep that defensive game plan very simple and very aggressive. At any one point in time, we're going to have 7 or 8 committed to the run, and we are going to blitz the shit out of it. We're going to blitz every down. If you break the huddle, we're blitzing. And just to get it right, that mean, that emotional, that aggressive mindset, blitz the whole damn thing. Because guess what? If they beat it, okay. I would rather get beat being aggressive than have somebody miss a tackle and a long run or touchdown happen because we were being passive. Be aggressive. Test the agility of the linemen of Iowa. Right? You may be aggressive enough, they may miss you. Hit it. Go at them. Go at them the whole game. Maureen says a lot of coaches mentioned for the job now have taken a tumble over the past 2 weeks. Yeah, that ain't. Kleiman is really the only one that hasn't. The guy at K-State. I don't know enough about what Rule or Aranda had inherited at Baylor. They're in games a lot. Please also, by the way, if you guys, all of you listening and watching, if we can just eliminate Bill O'Brien as a candidate, that is not going to go well. I'm just going to tell you. Bill O'Brien at Nebraska, well, if I have a list and Mickey is number 1 for me, Bill O'Brien is like number 6 billion on my list. Like, do not want nothing against him. I just don't he's not going to fit. He's not going to fit what we do. He doesn't fit the parameter. Not a builder. Just not. I'm sorry. I just do not want him. Do not. Matt's Fred's killing it today. Matt Campbell 6-27 in 1-score games at Iowa State. Yeah, we got that. We're good on that one. We got that playbook down. I'll have a nervous breakdown. Hire Bill Rock. Yeah, me too. Walter, we can go find a different team. They hired Bill O'Brien. I'm a temporary hiatus. We'll go cheer for Sam Pittman, Arkansas. Rule inherited bad pro. Yeah, Rule did. Rule's an interesting one to me. Like I said, Penn State or Big Ten guy, got Big Ten ties. Core principles or core beliefs kind of based in defense, which I think is a faster, easier rebuild. You have a gap responsibility, go. Rule's interesting to me. He's on my list. Like I said, I don't know what Aranda inherited at Baylor. I like him, though. My list has stayed pretty steady. Mickey, Leipold, Kleiman, Aranda. That's always been, well, no, it's not true. Campbell was in there for a while, but then I got over that one. I got threatened by mom at Scott 'cause she's an Iowa State fan. She cannot take him. I said, okay, deal. She might have threatened to stab me. Yeah, I'd put Rule, I guess, as my 5. Tavy said, oh, that's a cool name. That's way better than Matt. Tavy? That's awesome. What's your opinion of how to get better in the trenches? Love this podcast. Thank you so much. Okay. The off-season rebuild for Nebraska in the weight room is the big thing. Now I'm gonna say weight room, okay? There's so much more that goes into the weight room than the up and down, right? The video they send us out to get us all hyped up, like, oh my God, look at this guy lifting these chains, and there's 80,000 weights on there, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. The weight room, and I think the part that fails it in the weight room is the conditioning and the agility side of the weight room. All right. There should always be at least, and I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but 15, 20 minutes, half hour of agility conditioning, agility training. There's so much cool research now done on like explosive training, plyometrics are a big one that I'm revamping. I'm completely revamping how I train the linemen I work with in the off season. So that's got to start to get new age, right? When Nebraska was at its height, we were leading the pack in a lot of stuff. We had training table. Not everybody had training table. We had an academic support staff. Not everybody had that. The training regiments were legendary, right? It was so different than anything anybody had done. We were doing straight up like Olympic lifts. Like we were snatching weights over our head, which is crazy. And then, the circuit stuff. The circuit stuff put muscle and conditioning all together and made you absolutely hate your life. But you hated your life, but when you finish, you're like, listen, man, if I just shut my brain off, if I tell my brain to go away, I can get through anything. Because this is just insanity. So the way that the circuit worked was you had this little buzzer, little clock, right? There's a minute on the clock. You stand at the squat rack, and so then the cycle part of it is like they had the 2 squat racks facing each other. So like I always lifted with Taylor, Aaron Taylor, and I lifted. So I take my we got the same weights. I take my weight off the bar. He takes his weight off the bar. We're looking at each other, just like see you in like 30 minutes, buddy. Love you. And the thing would beep. Okay, you have to do 10 reps, and then you rack it. Whatever's left out of that minute is your rest. So when that thing beeps again, you have to go again. So the sadistic part of it is they have weight room guys just bam, bam, slide more weights on. And you kind of want to cry. But you look at your teammate, you're like, all right, you're going to go. I got to go. We got to go. So you pick up the bar and you do your 10. Well, my last set of squat, I rack it, and there's like 6 seconds. Bam, bam. Taylor was at about 10. And then you got more weights on. Now you got to go again. And so you're doing your 10. You're kind of ready to die. You throw it up on the rack. Well, it's already beeped. So you got to go on to your next exercise and catch up. So now you're benching and you're trying to catch up. You're kind of looking at yourself like, are you alive? I'm like, yeah, I'm alive. Are you? No, I'm dead. So you rack it. You go through the whole thing. It's like 16 exercises, a minute each, 3 sets each. So maybe it's a little longer than 30 minutes, whatever. But when you get done, the blood in your body has no idea where to go. It is so confused. It's not going to your brain. You feel like it's like we are under attack. I have to go save all these muscles that are broken now. And brain, you're on your own for a little bit. So you feel like you're going to pass out. You feel like you're going to puke. You feel jacked. But when you get done and you're in all the, like your central nervous system kind of calms down, it's like, dude, I am kind of a monster. Like I am kind of a bad mother. And then they look at you and be like, all right, let's go do some conditioning. You're like, whoa, calm down. I thought that's what we just did. but point of it is you're on the cutting edge of it. Okay. Right now, their hips are bad. Their ankle flexion is bad. So you have to go rebuild an athlete. You have to go do athletic things. Um, what I say is when you watch like a lineman, defensive or offensive, get in their stance, they can get in between their hips. Okay. Now that sounds weird. What I'm meaning is when their butt drops, their hips don't tighten it so it like a hunchback. They can get into like a flat back or an arch back position, as I should point at the camera. Flat back, hunchback, arch back. Okay. They can't get in between their hips. And those that have been in an offensive line or a stance know what that means or know what it feels like. So that's one. Like you have to, I don't care. I don't care if they can squat 400 pounds. Are your hips, ankles, and then knees also good, like flexy? Do you have explosion and are you agile? Okay. As much as I'm saying any kind of defensive plan I've ever come up with is always has a defensive line in motion, moving to make the big guy react. We struggle with lateral reaction. We don't land on the ball of our foot. We don't have that bouncy kind of gait. We struggle. There's no explosion or transfer of power through our hip when we hit something. When we hit the stalemate. Sometimes when our defensive line gets hit, it gets hit to jolt. Like they jolt our defensive line and we kind of fall back. That right there, that fall back is 2 yards. If I can get into a defensive lineman, I can jolt him, that right there is 2 yards because he's now on his heels. If I can get 3 of my 5 offensive linemen to get that jolt and get that defensive lineman to fall back, that's 3.5, 4 yards. That's why 4 yards is so simple. It's so very simple. That would be the start. I don't care if they lift a weight, but they have to start doing athletic things. You will roll your eyes at it. I'm about ready to watch Qatar, which is the crookedest thing ever in the world of soccer. I like soccer. Judge me all you want. Take the lineman out and teach them how to dribble a soccer ball. Okay? Anybody that's ever been in some kind of psycho workout cult, when they make you do toe taps are freaking exhausting because you're on the balls of your feet, but you're just going back and forth. It's rhythmic. Athleticism is rhythmic. They have to fix that. As I said, racquetball. We will go up and play racquetball. We would tool on people. And you talk about your pride being hurt, like when you're some little kind of wing back or running back or whatever, and you get tooled on by a 330 viewed to be morbidly obese person, there's a mental exercise for you. And we'd be talking shit all game. It was awesome. But it's competitive, right? And you got better. You got better. You got more athletic. Athletically, you have to be better. You're just not athletes up there. You're big, huge bodies. There's a picture of Ohio State offensive lineman, and I think it's the last game. Go find. I mean, you probably. I don't know how you're going to Google it. He's jumping up in the air to the height of their running back. His crotchal region is at the head of his running back. Say that running back's 5'10". You think we got any lineman that can get off the ground at 5'10"? And it ain't camera angle. I'm telling you that. It ain't camera angle. Big athletic dudes got to improve athleticism. Have to. Heard Dr. Rob Z talking once about how linemen can actually be too tall, too long and tall. Can't be low and lever. 6'10". What do you think? Rob's got a huge brain, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. If your hips are good, you can lever. If your hips are flexible, if you're bendy, you can lever at 6'10". You really can. Long arm, yeah. I would mildly disagree. I know what he's saying, but I think they can um, do that. Mike says deadlifts in 3 to 5 years burst, and the 3 to 5 years burst. Yeah, deadlifts are good. Yeah, deadlifts are undersold. And the tough part about weight rooms and stuff is everybody wants to make the weight room easy. It's like, nah, man, weight room is not easy, right? It never should be. Like I compared it to a freaking torture room from like olden times. It looks like it. Like when you go in there, the only thing that should be in your mind is I'm going to get better today through pain. If you go in there and you don't, and like if I'm Sue, well, hey dog, I gave you $2 million. I'd like some money back because you obviously ain't using this thing. It ain't working. But the weight room, that power, that explosion, that stuff, the meatheady, testosterone filled environment, you get like the strength staff should not. Then one thing, and in all the videos they put out in the off season, they have a question with all them videos and stuff. They got like Metallica playing in the background. Nothing against Metallica, not a thing in the world against Metallica. But there's some great like rap jams that will get me hyped to this day. If I'm having a bad one, 90s hip hop, bam, just get me back in the flow. But it's yelling, it's screaming, it's bonding, it's pain, it's failure. When you get under a bar and you fail, and your teammates are like, "Hey man, you get it next time," like pick you up. That's what it's about. Hopefully, along with the weight room, they develop an athleticism room. And all the big guys go in the athleticism room. Like I said, non-traditional ways to do things. You got to get plyometrics. You got to be more explosive. I'm a big knees over toes guys. If my IT band ever would just fuck off and leave me alone and not be as tight as it is, which I'm on my feet all day, I probably need to get off my feet for a couple days. But if I get my IT band, I've done a lot of the knees over toes stuff, which just protects your knee. It builds the inner muscle on your quad, keeps your knees safe. Okay. There's plenty of non-traditional things you can do in there to get them more athletic. Side to side agility, as simple as running ladders. Everybody knows what a ladder is. But instead of running your ladder forward and back, you're running your ladder side to side. So now I got to get down in between my hips like I was talking about. That's why I laugh at everybody posts the times of all their, my pro agility was this. Okay. Your pro agility was that. My pro agility at 333 pounds was 0.2 of a second slower. You know why? Because I didn't run the full thing. I could get my fat ass down and take my little stumpy arm and just touch the line without going the full distance. I had it timed out with my steps where I could be a yard short. I could get down my hips and I'd be already going the other way, touch that line and boom, take back off. And I could do it on the other side. And then I just ran middle. So that 5, 10, 5 to me became 4, 8, 5, 4. Saved myself a bunch of yards there. The N stands for knowledge. But even us little squatty bodies were athletic. For them to be successful, their line has to be more athletic. Because it may not be the flat back block that we want to drive somebody, pancake, and you're on the ground. But I can play this. I can play ball, you, man. Because my feet are good and I'm athletic. Then when that guy reaches, as soon as I have tension on him and he reaches, now I go for the flat back because he's off balance. Because I'm still engaged with him. That's how the sneaky guys did it, right? That's how the sneaky guys would get all those pancakes. They'd wait for that guy engaged in the block. He reaches like this. Look what it just did to me. It took me off balance. Boop. Counting the stars. Then you have maulers. You have bad dudes like Brennan Stein. Just smacking people. Try to bench press you. And then just drive your head into the ground. Oh, it's such a warped and twisted game, and I love it. It's so fun. Mike says Nash Huntmarker was athletic. I don't know what he is now. See the video of him before I knew he was a beast. I agree. Nash would be the guy that I would have be the leader of the agility program. People that love the lift, okay, that love the lifting. And everybody's got an example of it through time. Your fear with them is that they bulk and then they become unathletic. I think Nash loves the weight room so much, he's going to benefit most from some athleticism training, whatever that may be, whatever that is. But I agree. I need to get him back on a wrestling mat. I'll be honest. I'm sure Brian and Manning would have him over just to spar. But just to get him back where he's in his hips again. Right? He's very strong. Got to teach him to use those hips. Got to teach him to do that. That is kind of a big theme of them. It's mental and physical, athleticism, more mental strength and physical athleticism would be the things that I would change. Whoa. Evidently 69mega.com has fire all new things for us. I don't even know what that was. Oh, Coach Carl Tesmer out in beautiful Grand Island, Nebraska, says our players played hard. Not tired hard. Sometimes you just get beat. Game of inches, poor time management. Yeah. It was. It was. And there were chances in that game to take advantage of. There were things that needed to happen. And didn't man. I was really hoping that fourth down early in the freaking game, they just would have went for it. I think that just sends a message. Defense, we trust you. We're midfield. Give up 3 points, big deal. We're going to get this thing here. We're going to put it on the backs of our defense or of our offensive line. We're going to get this here right now. Sending a message. Go do it. You know what I mean? Go get after it. Fred asked what my favorite team to win the World Cup. Hey, buddy. I'm American. I think our club is horribly managed. I think the roster is terrible. There's 2 guys on our roster that aren't even going to play. They're like practice guys. I got to go USA, though. After that, though, I'll tell you. Oh, okay. Don't forget Tuesday. Monday, I'll be on TV. I understand if you don't tune in. Tuesday, Hail Varsity Club, 5115 podcast recording. Me and Tommy Frazier going to get down on the get down. We'll discuss this past game. We'll look at the Iowa game. Next Saturday. Okay. Cam's got to head out to the Mecca, Grand Island, Nebraska for Thanksgiving. So he's doing that on Sunday. So we are going to record on Saturday. So Saturday morning next week, Husker Hangover will be on. Okay. Right after, the day after. And then we'll, there's no bowl game. I know that's a shocker. Shouldn't laugh at that way. But yeah, we will. Yes, whoever asked me on my phone day, I will shave. Oh yeah. Thanks, John. Well, John, you're one of the ones that text me usually, so you're on the stream now, so you got it. But yeah, Monday, Vrzal on TV. Tuesday, 5115 at Hail Varsity Club. Saturday, Husker Hangover. After we beat Iowa, let's all get in a little mentally tougher space. If you tell yourself, if we manifest this into winning, Nebraska is going to beat Iowa. Brian Ferentz is going to do us a favor. He's going to throw it 72 times. They are not going to run the ball. We're going to give Cam the middle after we win. Thank you guys, as always, so much for joining us. I love chatting with you. I love talking with you. Thank you for the therapy. I hope this helped you. Next Saturday, Husker Hangover. Tuesday, Hail Varsity Club. Monday, state championship games. Should be a hell of a day. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a fantastic Sunday. Cam Broham, Matt Vrzal, Husker Hangover. We gone.